Well, it is August, and it is that time of year when we start thinking about going back to school. At this time of year, our society is comprised of three groups of people: students, teachers, and parents. Now, two of these groups hate what is about to happen, and the third, after a long summer with the kids, can't wait for the first morning bell to ring. I won't tell you who that third group is. I'll let you decide, because they're the ones with smiles on their faces right now. But school is a special time. Johnny and Sally had just finished taking a test, and Sally says to Johnny, "Too bad you flunked the test. How far away were you from passing it?" And Johnny says, "Oh, about 2 seats." And on that first day of school, of course, all the kids will be standing and giving their pledge, and so the allegiance to the flag. And so the teacher told told the class to stand, and as they all stood and they started the pledge to allegiance, teacher watched all the children as they began the pledge. "I pledge allegiance to the flag." And about that time, she saw little Billy with his hand on his head. And she stopped and said, "Billy, you have to put your hand over your heart, and we're not going to go on any further until you do." And Billy says, "Teacher, I have my hand over my heart." And after several attempts to remove his hand from his head and put it over his heart and his chest, the teacher finally asked him, "What makes you think that your hand is over your heart?" And Billy said, "Well, my heart must be in my head, because every time my grandma comes to visit, she squeezes my cheeks, pats me on the head, and says, 'Bless your little heart.' And my granny doesn't lie." Well, Billy might have a point there about paying attention to grandma or grandpa, especially grandpa. Our text today comes from Proverbs chapter 1. It's a passage where that Solomon is trying to get his son to pay attention. Pay attention to his parents, because it's of great value. In addition to his warning to the son, he also tells him about some of the pitfalls that he may face. Proverbs chapter 1, we're going to look at verses 8 through 19. Solomon is speaking to his son here, and his words speak to us today. "Listen, my son, to your father's instructions, and don't reject your mother's teaching. For they will be a garland of favor on your head and pendants around your neck. My son, if sinners entice you, don't be persuaded. If they say, 'Come with us, let's set an ambush and kill someone. Let's attack some innocent person just for fun. Let's swallow them alive like Sheol, whole like those who go down to the pit. We'll find all kinds of valuable plunder or valuable property and fill our houses with plunder. Throw in your lot with us and we'll all share the loot.' My son, don't travel that road with them or set foot on their path, because their feet run toward evil and they hurry to shed blood. It is useless to spread a net where any bird can see it, but they set an ambush to kill themselves. They attack their own lives. Such are the paths of all who make profit dishonestly. It takes the lives of those who receive it." Solomon is addressing some temptations that our children will face. The temptation today is called the allure of profit. And although this idea may be kind of missed in the text, because there are so many other valuable lessons and pieces of information in the text, it does play to that underlying theme. And so he begins there in verses 8 and 9. He says, "Listen, my son, to your father's instruction, and don't reject your mother's teachings." Parents have an important role in the development of their children. And Solomon is telling his son to listen to mom and dad. This advice is prudent for all, but ignored by some. See, Solomon understood the temptations that his children would face, and he wanted them to be mindful of the teachings that parents provide. He said they should be like a garland on your head and a pendant around your neck. That means they should be evident in your life. The lessons of mom and dad should be on our minds as much as a pendant is visible around our neck. The teachings and warnings that we share with our children should be a constant reminder of the temptation and dangers that they will face in life. You see, the warnings and the instructions that we receive in life, whether from parents or grandparents, aunts, uncles, or others in authority who might be in authority over us, like teachers even, those should be listened to. And when we don't, bad or uncomfortable things can happen in our lives. How many of you remember the Board of Education being applied to the seat of learning? Maybe not to you, but to one of your classmates. Bad things happen when people don't listen to what they should do. A young boy came home from school one day and he said, "Dad, the principal wanted me to invite you and Mom to a small group meeting going on down at the school on Friday." The dad asked, "Well, how small of a group is this going to be, son?" And the boy replied, "Well, it's not very big. It's me, you, Mom, and the principal." You see, sometimes when we don't remember our instructions, we often find out that ignoring advice is painful. And Solomon was wanting to give his son this idea to remember the words of your father, instructions of the father, your teachings of your mother, and wear them like a garland around your head and a pendant around your neck. Let them be a part of who you are. And don't forget what you've learned. He then goes on and says in verse 10, "My son, if sinners entice you, don't be persuaded." Here's one of Solomon's points. The crowd is strong. The crowd is strong. You see, as early as childhood, there is that secondary group that pulls at your emotions and wants your allegiance. It's called the crowd. Now, it may have different names from where you're at. It may be your peers, it may be the gang, or your buddies. But no matter the name, they possess the same power to attract you into their way of thinking and living. Remember the old saying, one boy is a boy, two boys is half a boy, and three boys is what? No boys at all. See, that really rings true, doesn't it? Solomon knew and understood the attracting force of the crowd. More than one person has been pulled into unfortunate situations just because they went along with the crowd. There's a story about the above average intelligent fly and the spider. The spider would build its web and weave its beautiful web, and every time that a fly flew into it, it would immediately go down and consume the fly, repair the web, and go back to its hiding place. Well, the above average intelligent fly was flying around one day, and he saw the spider's web, but he didn't see any other flies around there. So he stayed away from it, and he flew around some more, and the next thing he knew, he saw more flies. And as he looked at them, they were on a piece of paper and just dancing and celebrating and having a good time. And so he flew down and landed on the paper. And unbeknownst to him, he found out that the flies weren't dancing, that they were trying to get away from the fly paper that they were stuck to, and that now he, too, was attached to. You see, when we don't pay attention to what's going on around us, it is often tempting to go along with the crowd and play their games. It's called herd mentality, where people in a group will often behave in ways that differ from their personal morality or even outside their comfort zone. But when they get into a group, they start acting like the rest of the herd. Solomon was warning his son to be cautious around those who would tempt him and to stay away from them. In verse 11, he says, if they say, come with us, let's set an ambush and kill someone. Let's attack some innocent person just for fun. Here we see the desires of the predators. Whether they were really wanting to kill someone or not, we see the predatory desire and the tendencies that they had. Attacking others just for fun. Does this describe some of the actions we see today and hear about, where we read about on social media, where people will attack innocent people on the street just for a laugh or a social media challenge? The events of what happened last week in Cincinnati may have been part of that. I think that there is this one-punch challenge that's going around, that has gone around on social media for so long, where you go up and try to knock somebody down with just one punch and you videotape it. It's that type of attitude. Let's ambush or kill someone. Let's attack some innocent person. Why? Just for fun. Just for fun. Why is it that when people are hurt, we feel it is fun? Remember how Solomon began the lesson to his son by telling him to listen to his parents? That's not just a one-time lesson. That's a theme that goes throughout this Bible, or throughout this book. And near the end of the book, he talks about those who ignore their parents and the destruction that they bring about. Proverbs 30:11-14 says, there is a generation that curses its father and does not bless its mother. There is a generation that is pure in its own eyes, yet it is not washed from its filth. There is a generation, how haughty its eyes and pretentious its looks. There is a generation whose teeth are swords, whose fangs are knives, devouring the oppressed from the land and the needy from among mankind. There's a generation, he's saying, that is forgetting what mom and dad said, that are cursing their father, ignoring their mother, and rising up to become a group unfit to be around. Why? Why is it that people live that way? Solomon continues on there in verse 12. They say, let's swallow them alive like Sheol, whole like those who go down to the pit. We'll find all kinds of valuable property and fill our houses with plunder. Throw in your lot with us and we will all share the loot. Here we come back to that underlying theme of what I mentioned earlier, the allure of profit. This is the reason behind what Solomon is warning his son. The quick gain, the sharing of the loot, the temptation, the allure of the profit. Paul wrote in 1 Timothy 6:10, for the love of money is the root of all evil. Is this part of the reason that the crowd wants others to join them? Here's the temptation. Quick, easy money. Join us, and you will see how easy it is to make some quick money. Wow. That can be alluring to people, can't it? How many movies have you seen over the years where a person gets in trouble because of the temptation of quick money? The problem is, it isn't just in the movies. Evil rears its ugly head when people give in to the temptation of profit. Temptation of profit causes them to do things that they may not normally think about. But when situations arise, the ease at which they see money being attained, then they give in to the allure of profit. Verse 15, he says, "My son, don't travel the road with them and set foot on their path, because their feet run toward evil and they hurry to shed blood." Once again, Solomon warns his son, don't go down this road. The temptations can be strong. Don't give in. See, in our society, easy money is all around us. All you have to do is look. That's why people think, well, why work 8 hours when you can commit a crime and in a few moments make more in illegalities than you can by an honest day's wage? That might be the way that some think, because you can make lots of money illegally and quickly. But what's the cost? What's the cost? Our prisons and jails are full of people who think that they can make money easily and quickly. They're reaping the cost. See, is this road one where you have to feed the desire more and more with bigger and bigger scores? But it isn't only the thief that will steal for profit. Those who are vicious and violent. Oh, we read about white-collar crimes all the time. That they don't physically hurt someone, but others are truly hurt, and they steal anyway. Or what about the person who doesn't report all their income because they think that they've paid enough in taxes? Isn't that also yielding to the allure of profit? Making money their God? Solomon, who's warning his son, stay away. Stay away. Think about the word path, the word that Solomon uses here. He says, don't go down their path. You ever think about the word path? When I was a little boy, I did. Because when we were out in the fields, you'd follow the cow's path. See, a path is thinking about one person walking through a field. They may leave enough impressions in the grass that somebody who was a good tracker might be able to track them. But the idea of a path is something that takes multiple trips or multiple people to create a path. When I was a kid, we'd follow those cow paths because it was the easiest way to travel through a field, because it was worn down to the dirt. And it was worn down to the dirt because many, many cattle over and over followed the same path. They were smart like we were. It's easier to walk through on dirt than it is through the grass sometimes, or through the brush. And they would break that path. But Solomon's saying, stay off that path. The crowd knows this path because they have been there before. And we're warned to stay clear of that. These type of people have made the choice, whether conscious or the conscious choice to run towards evil. Paul told the Thessalonians in 1 Thessalonians 5:22, stay away from every kind of evil. The crowd, however, that we are seeing here is the ones that run toward it. They have the desire to shed blood and to harm others. Why is it? Why is it that we are so tempted with evil? Because Satan makes it pleasing to our eyes. Why is it that the temptations that we face seem to be so appealing? Because that's what Satan does. Satan doesn't want you to think about going to the riverboat and going there and spending all your money and not being able to pay the rent or the mortgage this month because you wanted quick, easy money. Or whatever it might be, the temptations that he gives, the buzz from the alcohol, the enjoyment of the drug. Never is it explained or shown what the temptation will do to us. But Solomon says, stay away from those type of people, that crowd, and don't give in to them. Turn, if you would, to Psalm 1. Psalm 1, as we read about what it's like to be in tune with God. I should have told you before when you turn to that, keep your finger in Proverbs 1 because we're going to go back there in a minute. But we'll get there. Psalm 1 says, how happy is the one who does not walk in the advice of the wicked, or stand in the pathways with sinners, or sit in the company of mockers. How happy he is. Instead, his delight is in the Lord's instruction, and he meditates on it day and night. He is like a tree planted beside flowing streams that bears its fruit in its season, and its leaf does not wither. Whatever he does prospers. The wicked are not like this. Instead, they are like chaff that the wind blows away. Therefore, the wicked will not stand up in the judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For the Lord watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked leads to ruin. It does. But for so many, they don't realize it until it's too late. We must think about that. Now, if you want to go back to Proverbs chapter 1, verse 17 there. Solomon continues, it's useless to spread a net where any bird can see it. But they set an ambush. Again, he's talking about the wicked. They set an ambush to what? Kill themselves. They attack their own lives. Such are the paths of all who make profit dishonestly. It takes the lives of those who receive it. Right before their eyes. They can see the net. They see the trap. They see the problem. But it doesn't stop them. In our society, we call them career criminals, don't we? They know the problem. They see the trap, and yet they move forward. However, it isn't just the career criminal that we think about here. It's us, the average Joe and Josephine, who sees the net and the temptations are strong, and we go on stepping right into the trap anyway. And it is summarized with a phrase like this: I know I shouldn't, but. Let me give you a piece of advice. Some that I need to sometimes apply myself. When you say, I know I shouldn't, but you shouldn't. We shouldn't. That is us telling ourselves that we know. But the temptation is stronger than we're willing to fight. Temptation often causes us to ignore the dangers because of the allure, the desire, the sparkling of the diamond, whatever it might be. And here in this text, it's the allure of profit. All these guys were doing evil, destroying other people, attacking other people. What? For the loot. That if you join our group, you can split with us. And Solomon concludes that the path of those who make profit dishonestly will have their lives taken from them. Maybe not in a physical way, but the destruction of their soul, the torment that comes in their heart, and the fear that every time they hear a knock on the door or a siren or the police car following them. Now, maybe you aren't a thief. I hope you're not. And maybe you aren't somebody who wants to attack others. But you understand what it's like when you see a police car on your tail. Whether he's coming after you or not. Do you not understand that? Do you not drive a little differently? Do you not make sure you're staying in your lane? And you might even check your speed just because you see an officer behind us. Or when you meet one who might be parked in the roadside and you know he's running radar and you've just come over the hill and you see him, what is the first thing that most of us do? Where's my speedometer at? Or we hit our brakes, which is really a telling thing when you're driving along, your nose of your car goes like that. And it's kind of a telltale sign. But don't we feel that way? Don't we see that way? Or you're kind of not doing your job at work and the boss walks in the door. How would you like to live that way all the time? With the fear that somebody might be knocking at the door. The siren might be for you. Evil does destroy. It makes us jumpy. In Solomon's day, the voice of the crowd was strong. And it's strong in our world as well. Social media tempts us to be like the rest of the crowd. We are told how to dress, how to talk, how to behave. Not just by social media, but everybody around us. The crowd is strong, and if we listen to the wrong crowd, if we ignore the teachings of God, then we will be like those that Solomon warned his son about. The allure of the prophet, the allure of profit, along with the persuasion of the crowd, will tempt people to forget what they know is right and justify what they desire to do. Listening to the wrong crowd can have devastating results. Not sure which one of Solomon's sons he was speaking to, but Solomon's son Rehoboam is a prime example of what happens when you listen to the wrong crowd. After Solomon's death, people of Israel had gathered in Shechem to crown Rehoboam king. Solomon's son would be king. But however, before they met with him, they told him that your father had put a heavy yoke upon us, and that if you will lighten our burdens, we will serve you. Well, Rehoboam told the people to go away for 3 days and to return, and he would give them their answer. He first turns to the elders who had served his father and gave them the comments that the people had said, and they advised him to speak kindly to the people, and they would serve him. People would serve you, Rehoboam, if you will do what they've asked. However, Rehoboam did not like what he heard. He did not like what he heard, and so he sought the advice of his peers, the young men who had grown up with him. Their advice was to this: treat the people harshly and tell them what my father did is nothing compared to what I will do to you. That was their advice. And that's the advice he chose. When the people returned back to Rehoboam to hear the result of what he had decided, the people spoke also. Rehoboam may have been in a position of authority to speak, but the people spoke by the masses. And at that point in time, the nation of Israel was divided. It was divided into what later became known as the northern and the southern kingdom. Rehoboam could have ruled over 12 tribes. But because of his action, he ruled over one, the tribe of Judah. And this was a turn of events for the nation of Israel, that they would be separated and divided for its existence until the captivities, even through the captivities as they were taken away. This was because of what God had spoken to Ahijah, telling them what was going to happen. And it did. Rehoboam didn't listen to Dad, because Solomon was right. When we listen to the wrong crowd, when we give in to the allure of the prophet, when we give in to the temptations that are around us, allow our lives to be influenced by the crowd, then we will face hardships or even destruction. However, we can learn, we can be different, and we don't have to yield to temptation. We can listen to the words of Solomon.